Ja, aber ich nochmal ein Video von Mr. Santisap, dem gleichen, der für $210 Merchandise auf Temu gekauft hat und ziemlich abgescampt wurde. Er hat einfach mal das schlechteste WWE-Ticket besorgt, das möglich ist, und er teilt mit uns seine Erfahrung, wie es denn so ist, das allerschlechteste Ticket bei einem WWE-Event zu kaufen. Wird er hinter einem Pfeiler sitzen? Wir werden sehen.
Professional wrestling is cool. It's the whole reason why I named my podcast Wrestling is Cool. Now, for the longest time, professional wrestling wasn't getting the attention that I always thought it rightfully deserved. But we live in an era where all eyes are on professional wrestling. Lapsed fans and new fans are flocking to the product because it's as good as it's ever been. And not only are all eyes going towards TV shows like Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, but now people are flocking to go watch WWE shows in person. And what was once a very cheap and a very affordable...
Ich habe letztens einen Post gesehen auf Instagram, glaube ich, oder auf Twitter, jetzt X. Da hat jemand sein Ticket gepostet von WrestleMania 2000. Der hat irgendwie $90 bezahlt, war relativ weit vorne gesetzt. $90? Weißt du, wo du jetzt für $90 sitzt? Hinter dem Pfeiler, unter der Tribüne, vom Ring abgewandt. Das zahlst du für $90.
hobby has, in the blink of an eye, become ridiculously expensive. Just go on Ticketmaster right now and try to find yourself the most affordable two-day ticket for WrestleMania 41, and you won't find anything for under $1,000 in the worst.
Ich mache aber den Untertitel an für die YouTube-Leute, die kein Englisch verstehen, oder für Leute hier im Stream, die kein Englisch verstehen, dass die wissen, was hier gelabert wird.
It's possible. So in today's video, we decided to see how much of an affordable night can you have as a wrestling fan. Because I went to Friday Night SmackDown and I purposely got the cheapest, worst possible ticket available to see what kind of experience I can have. I'm going to show you my experience, the concession prices. I even bought a couple of shirts just to show you what the true full experience would be like. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I am very confident that you're going to fall in love with his YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. And don't forget, if you want more daily wrestling content, come over to the Patreon, patreon.com/SantiZap. Over there, we upload so much more extra content that you're never going to get to see here on YouTube. So go check it out. Link in the description, link in the pinned comment. Okay, it's really important to note that prices are going to vary depending on where you're at and the context behind the show, because this episode of SmackDown was right before Elimination Chamber and it was in Toronto, a giant market, which means that ticket prices are likely going to be more expensive here than they would be for a random episode of SmackDown in the middle of the year in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So
ich weiß nicht, ob das wirklich daran liegt. Kann sein, dass es in den USA so ist, aber wenn ich so mein Raw in London vergleiche, ich habe knapp 400 € bezahlt für das Ticket bei Raw, mit dem Vergleich mit Bash in Berlin, da habe ich als Kombi-Ticket 750 oder so bezahlt. Eigentlich sind die Preise gleich, weil ja das ungefähr die Hälfte ist. Also ungefähr sind die Preise gleich. Ich saß, glaube ich, bei Raw in London etwas weiter vorne. Ich würde sagen, wenn die in Europa sind, bleiben die Preise ziemlich gleich. Aber in den USA, dass die Ticketpreise von der Season her schon schwanken, das kann man schon vorstellen.
The cost of my ticket just to get in and be in the nosebleeds was a total of $83.
$83, okay, krass.
Which, like I said, I do believe that because of when the show was taking place and where it was taking place, that this is going to be more expensive than usual. Now, for this particular experiment, I wanted to see what it would cost for a family to go to a show. So I invited my two children, Conman167 and Denise Salcedo, to come along for this journey. So in total, to get my family in the door, it cost $249. Here's Conman getting escorted by security coming in because he brought a stabilizer that, to be fair, it did kind of look like...
Das ist auch eine super Idee, mit so einer, ja, ich sag mal nichts, mit so einem Stativ zu einem Event zu gehen, das Security hat. Ja, dass das Probleme mit sich bringt, das, glaube ich, hätte man sich vorher schon denken können.
Like a freaking handgun. Immediately once I got in there, I had to check out what merch they had, and it didn't take me very long to realize that it was quite expensive, with each shirt being $50. So
ja, in London haben sie 40 Pfund gekostet, ungefähr dasselbe, ne?
you plan on buying yourself a shirt or maybe buying a shirt for a family member, your child, whatever it might be, you're in for a bit of an expensive night.
As it turns out, it's far more difficult to find your garbage-ass seats than just walking in. We cannot find where we're going.
As it turns out, when you have the worst seats in the house, it's also really difficult to find where you're actually sitting, because we walked around for a solid 5 minutes until we eventually figured out that we had to find this really, really long stairwell to get to our seats. And the stairs just kept going. When we thought that we were at the very top, psych, there were more stairs to climb. It was a little bit of an exercise to actually get to our seats. But hey, at the very least, I got to burn some calories before I had some incredibly expensive concessions. Yay! This is where I realized that I'm maybe not in the best of shape right now, because I won't lie, I was gassed climbing these. We did eventually make it to our seat.
Aber es ist doch ein guter Blick eigentlich, oder? Also ganz ehrlich, es ist doch ein geiler Blick von da oben.
And honestly, these aren't half bad. The view was pretty good overall. Not only that, but we also got to watch a match before SmackDown.
Ja gut, das war in Berlin schon so, dass sie so ein Dark Match davor hatten. Das war glaube ich, in London für Main Event aufgezeichnet worden. Es gab auch noch ein Dark Match danach in London zwischen Ludwig Kaiser und CM Punk. Ja, dass du solche Matches davor und danach hast, ist, glaube ich, üblich.
Even started. In case you didn't know, before SmackDown, they actually taped WWE Speed. So we got to watch Ivar of the War Raiders go up against Yoshiki Inamura, who is temporarily in NXT from the Japanese wrestling organization Noah. I won't lie, getting Yoshiki Inamura was a bit of a treat.
Gun to your head, would you have guessed Yoshiki Inamura?
Not in millionaires, not at all.
Look, I won't lie, we were treated to a really excellent match.
Aber Speed, die Matches sind doch echt kurz, die machen sie doch für... Gibt es das überhaupt noch, WWE Speed? Ich habe noch nie eine Folge gesehen. Angeblich wird das ja für Twitter produziert. Ich habe das noch nie gesehen. Noch nicht eine Folge.
Between Ivar and Inamura. No bread, no water, just meat in the Speed environment, which meant that it was a really quick, fast-paced match. And because this wasn't part of SmackDown, this just sort of felt like an added bang for your buck, added value for the ticket that I purchased for SmackDown. So I was really happy with this. And now it was time for SmackDown to start.
Der Bass bei diesen WWE-Events, der ist so verdammt laut. Also dein Trommelfell verabschiedet sich schon vor dem ersten Match eigentlich.
I'm sure you've noticed that in my videos recently, I've been spending a little bit more cash in order to show you different aspects of the world of professional wrestling, and that's been made possible by my sponsor, Bovada. They've been sponsoring me for a...
Ja, wir überspringen den Sponsor, der bringt uns sowieso nichts. Weil es das wahrscheinlich in Deutschland wieder nicht gibt. Oh, Trish?
Thank you, Trish! Thank you, Trish! Thank you, Trish! Thank you, Trish! Thank you!
So honestly, the seats aren't too bad. They're actually pretty good. The acoustics are pretty good. The lights are a little bit blinding. But what's nice is that up here, there's like, it's like dead. And I know it's because the show's going on, but it's like extra dead. Like things are even closed for some reason up here. Like, look at this.
I wasn't exaggerating. Everything in our area was closed. All concessions, there was nowhere to buy merch. So if you wanted to get food or get yourself a piece of merchandise, I had to walk all the way down the insane amount of flights of stairs that it took to get up here. Yay! To really make sure that I had the most authentic WWE experience, I needed to go get myself some merch. However, I already knew that merch was going to be expensive, with all adult shirts being up.
Schau euch das mal an. Das Trish Stratus Jersey da von Adidas, mit Stratus hinten drauf und Originalunterschrift. $575. Wollen die mich denn komplett verarschen?
Upwards of $50. And then there was this $575 Trish Stratus Maple Leaf sweater. But the one that actually made me angry was this $850.
Was? 850? Das ist aber richtiger Scam. Das gibt's doch viel billiger bei WWE Shop Online, oder? Das ist doch richtiger Scam.
WWE Undisputed Championship replica belt. By the way, these are all Canadian prices. However, this is still highway robbery. Let me explain. $850 is what this belt costs there in person without any sort of shipping costs because they could just literally hand it to me. Meanwhile, on WWE Shop, it costs.
Wie viel kosten die mittlerweile? $740. What the fuck?
$740. Now, it might come out to $850 with shipping costs. So why am I paying $850 in person when there's no shipping costs accrued whatsoever? Why is it costing $110 more in person than it does on WWE Shop?
Weil Geld und weil Monopol, man hat keine Konkurrenz da. Aber sind die echt so teuer geworden? Leck mich am Arsch, ey.
That makes absolutely no sense, and that needs to be fixed. Look, I know that these shirts are expensive, but getting yourself a piece of WWE merch really is part of the experience, so I had to get myself this awesome Kevin Owens shirt. And hey, one of the advantages of buying merch in person is that you can actually like eyeball the size of the shirt to confirm that it's actually going to fit, as opposed to just guessing when you're buying things online. So that's a plus to buying things in person. Now, before the show, I did grab dinner, but I still wanted to get something to eat at the show so that you guys could see what the prices were like.
So as a light snack, because I'm a fat kid at heart, got myself some cotton candy and a Häagen-Dazs.
So the ice cream costs $13 and the cotton candy costs.
Was? Das Eis kostete $13? 13 fucking Dollar für das Eis?
$10. But what was weird was that I actually opened the ice cream before I went back to my seats because I wanted to get a couple of those licks in. However, security wouldn't let me go to.
Du kaufst Eis. Die Security lässt dich nicht durch. Du so richtig awkward voll. Ach du Scheiße.
My seats until I finished the ice cream, so they made me finish it in front of them. It's so awkward. Like, why does it matter if I had ice cream in my seat with me or not? Well, I don't get it. It's a weird policy.
Schaut euch mal die Fans da hinten, sind echt begeistert aus. Aber er hat eigentlich gelogen in seinem Titel. Noch viel, viel weiter oben ist er noch billiger wahrscheinlich, oder?
Let's go, Jacob! Oh! Cotton candy, low-tier wrestling food.
Hey, that's usually my go-to Santi.
For a wrestling show?
Yeah, I love cotton candy. Are you kidding me? It's the best.
Ich habe, glaube ich, einmal im Leben Zuckerwatte gegessen. Ein einziges Mal, nie wieder.
Well, if you didn't eat it like an animal.
There's no stick. There's no stick. I have to eat it like an animal. There's no stick. How am I supposed to eat this? How do I eat this?
I would love, you know what, just all at once.
There's no stick.
Just pack it up.
What kind of Neanderthals sells cotton candy without a stick on it?
They didn't give you a stick.
There's no stick.
As it turns out, cotton candy is incredibly messy. It's got all over my fingers, and I had sticky fingers for the rest of the night. Back to the wrestling, though, because this episode of SmackDown treated us to some unbelievably amazing matches, one of them being this classic between Andrade and Jacob Fatu that honestly kind of blew my mind, and even though we were in the cheap seats, I thought that we had an awesome view.
Das ist auch ein geiler Aus, ganz ehrlich. Sie ist richtig gut. Jacob Fatu ist auch so eine Kiste, ne? Die Plätze sind super, das ist die geile Sicht. Also war meine Sicht auf den Ring beschissener bei Raw.
Best Jacob Fatu head shake.
Let me see yours. Okay, let me try. Hold on.
Now, with this being the go-home episode of SmackDown going towards Elimination Chamber, we got an awesome segment with all the men's Elimination Chamber participants, which involves some of my favorite names in the industry right now.
Seth Rollins. Aber da darfst du auch keine Höhenangst haben bei den Plätzen, oder?
The cult of personality. Y'all thought that was John Cena. Suck my ass, Logan.
Oh, das war die Episode.
I do think that part of the value for your ticket comes in the names that actually appear on the show. And this was a rare occasion where I got the likes of Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, Logan Paul, and a tease of John Cena. And that to me is worth the price of admission when you get names like that. But that isn't the case with every episode of Raw and SmackDown. So during another intermission, I went back out to see.
Der Gürtel ist geil. Den hätte ich auch gern, aber ich zahle keine $1.000 für so eine Scheiße, ey. Also der Titel ist geil, aber nicht so geil, dass ich so viel ausgeben würde. Warum ist der Belt eigentlich $400 da drüben, dieser Gewichtheberbelt von... Achso, weil er unterschrieben ist. Achso.
See what kind of other merch stands there were, and I found this awesome merch stand that had some of the most expensive WWE belts and specialty belts as well. And since the whole thing this weekend was about whether or not Cody Rhodes was going to sell his soul to the Final Boss, I caved and I bought a Final Boss Rock shirt.
Now, before I show you guys what I just bought, I got myself a new The Rock shirt.
Das sieht auch so übelst Temo-mäßig aus, ne?
The Final Boss is going to be Bloodline Rules. $50. $50 for these shirts are just ridiculous.
Hey, if you go with the family, there's a good chance you're going to end up buying more than one shirt. So I just want to show you what that experience is going to cost you.
It's getting late too, though, so I got myself a coffee as well to try and make it through the rest of this night. All right, so first of all, Logan Paul, you're a giant piece of shit. You actually got me with that. Well played.
Yeah, even in real life, no pop. Listen, I've experienced pretty much every seat that you can at a WWE show, whether it's front row, floor seats, lower bowl, and now the nosebleeds. I gotta say, I didn't mind sitting up here considering I had a direct view of the ring, it wasn't obstructed, and I didn't have to jolt my neck up and have it be all strained by the end of the show like it would if I had a floor seat.
Warum heißt die eigentlich Nosebleed Seats? Oder sind die in der ersten Reihe damit gemeint?
So even though sitting up here isn't the sexiest, most appealing seat in the house, honestly, if this is all you can afford, you're gonna have a really good experience overall. Listen, right now, if you're looking for WWE tickets, prices are admittedly very, very high and very skewed. However, this isn't normal. As of the making of this video, the WWE is in Europe, and during this European tour, ticket prices are exuberant, ridiculously high.
Wie schon gesagt habe, €400, ne?
And they will probably also be high when they come back from this European tour because we're on this road to WrestleMania. That's what I mean when I say that context matters and the time of the year matters as well when it comes to ticket prices.
Sag mal, ist da Werbung für einen Minecraft-Film? Das sehe ich jetzt erst. Ach du Scheiße, ey.
So if you're trying to find the most affordable experience, then I do think that going maybe in the middle of the year in a more rural town is the way to go, as opposed to going to a show in a metropolis like a Chicago, New York, Toronto, or Los Angeles. All in all, I do firmly believe that this is still a very enjoyable night, a very enjoyable hobby to it.
Ja, Alexa Bliss, da haben sie auch nie wieder was draus gemacht. Na, die ist einfach verschwunden danach, oder? Ganz komisch.
Even if you are
fast bei Elimination Chamber war es noch und dann ist er verschwunden, ne? Da gehe ich morgen rein in den Minecraft-Film. Hat den nicht jemand von euch schon gesehen? Also ich bin jetzt nicht so der große Minecraft-Fan. Aber keine Ahnung, ob da was taugt.
Getting the best, most premium experience in the front row or with meet and greets. I feel like you can still have a great time in the nosebleeds, also considering the fact that you're generally surrounded by the really rowdy hardcore fans that just want to experience the live experience. So you have people chanting around you and keeping your energy ups all night. If you want to go by yourself, I feel like you can make this really affordable by just getting yourself a ticket and that's it. If you're a family person, then the ticket prices and the concessions and merch, all of that can compile and become a fairly expensive night, but I promise you that I think it's worth it. The other thing that I didn't mention is accommodations. If you are planning on staying at a hotel, that's an added...
Ungelogen, ich habe für London die eine Nacht 14 Pfund bezahlt. Ihr wollt nicht wissen, was für ein Hotel das war, ne? Aber ich war alleine, es war sauber, aber sehr, 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 sehr klein.
Cost, and if it's in a major metropolitan area, it's going to be
Alexa Bliss soll demnächst mit den White Six wiederkommen, da bin ich mal gespannt.
incredibly
Die sind auch verschwunden.
Expensive. So if you can drive to and from the show, that's what I would personally recommend in order to save as much money as possible. Something that's cool that you should know is that even when the show ends and the cameras stop rolling, the show still keeps going for the people that are in attendance. In this case, we had Cody Rhodes out there thanking everybody for coming and trying to give away one of his weight belts to one of his fans, and then he was randomly attacked by Solo Sikoa, somebody that he hasn't feuded with in months. But hey, he got to hit a crossroads and got to send the crowd home happy. So in total, in order to be able to bring a family of 3 to a WWE show while getting the cheapest available tickets, while also getting 2 shirts and a few concessions, the total was 374 Canadian dollars. For my American friends, that came out to 260 US dollars. In my opinion, I got my money's worth. I feel like I got my money's worth because I got some great action before the show started. I got some great matches. I got great appearances that I wasn't expecting, like CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Logan Paul. So for me, the experience was overall an A+. Even if it was the worst seats in the house, I felt like I had a great view, and it's not something that, in my opinion, damaged the experience. Would it have been better in the front row? Sure, but I also would have spent like $2,000 to get that seat. And I don't know that that person in the front row got $2,000 of more fun than I did all the way up in the nosebleeds. All right, folks, I'll leave it at that. I hope that this was an enjoyable video for you.
Ein sehr gutes Video, mal zu sehen, was denn eigentlich so das billigste WWE-Ticket ist, was man besorgen kann bei so einer Show und wie die Experience dabei ist. Ich würde sagen, hat sich auf jeden Fall gelohnt. Sollte man vielleicht auch mal überlegen, bei der nächsten Deutschland-Tour oder sonst irgendwo, vielleicht mal so einen Platz komplett da hinten zu nehmen. Einfach mal so, warum nicht? Anscheinend lohnt sich das Ganze, ja. Schreibt mal eure Erfahrungen mit WWE-Events und was ihr so bezahlt habt in die Kommentare. Was ihr denn so für eine Erfahrung hattet mit euren Tickets. Ich habe ja von meiner schon groß erzählt. Lasst aber mal diese ganzen WWE Live-Events außen vor. Nehmt mal solche Raw, SmackDown oder irgendwelche PLEs mit, bei denen ihr schon wart. Und schreibt mal eure Meinung dazu in die Kommentare, wie ihr das denn so fandet, die ganze Experience. Und ja, dann wünsche ich noch einen schönen Tag euch. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao.